Okay, so how do we align instances to face normals of another object in geometry nodes in Blender 4.x? In former Blender versions, this was done with the transfer attribute node and the align Euler to vector node. The transfer attribute node is not available anymore, and the align Euler to vector node is deprecated and will be phased out in one of the next Blender versions. So how do we align instances to face normals in Blender 4.x? Let's see. Okay, so we are starting off with a brand new scene and deleting all the geometry that is in there and adding a monkey head here. Suzanne, because we want to apply the geometry nodes to this monkey head. And so we are setting a new geometry nodes, and we are using this input from our geometry, what is in the scene, for our geometry nodes. We are not using any proxy or something like that. We are using the real geometry, what is in there. So we want to have points on every face of this object because we want to place there some spikes pointing out in the normal direction. So we have to use a mesh to points. We use a mesh to points, and then we are using a instance on points because we want to instance some cones on it. And these these cones are far too big for the moment, so we have to reduce them in size. 0.02 and let's say 0.2 meters. And now we can see if we connect our original monkey with the join geometry again with our viewport, we can see we have spikes, but we have them on the vertices, so we need them on the faces. And now we can see, as expected, they are all pointing upwards, so we have to align them into a direction or to a direction that is defined by the normal of each face, of each of these faces. So we have to capture this normal, and for that we have the capture attribute node. And also we don't want to capture anything point related, but we want to capture a face related data, and that is the normal. So at this point we have at this point here we have the face related normal of our geometry, what is put into the capture attribute node, and this geometry is the geometry we got from our scene here, the monkey head. Okay, so now we want to align these cones to a special vector, and the vector we want to them align to is the normal we have captured here. So we are using a align rotation to vector, and we want to put this into the rotation, and the vector we want to align to is the captured attribute, or normal. So we put this into the vector, and we see we have for every face now a kind of spike, some very thin cone pointing outwards of this face. And very important is to have the faces here in the capture attribute and the faces in the mesh to points, because we want to capture the normal from the faces, and we want to put the instances on the faces. So that has always to be the same. Okay, and basically that is it. And now we can have some fun and see if we replace the cone by some kind of cube, and we put the cone away and we put the cube into the instance, and we resize them by some 0.05 by some value. We can see, even if we remove the original monkey head, we still have some kind of idea of the monkey head, even if the original geometry is not available anymore. And so now we can translate instances along a specified axis. For example, along the z-axis, because we have aligned our instances here also along the z-axis. So if we do that, boom, our monkey head explodes, sort of. So yeah, you can move these particles you put onto the faces away in the normal direction of the face if you use the translate instances node in the same direction as you defined the align rotation to vector. Yeah, we can also use again the cone, and for that we have to join our monkey head again. We can also use the cone in the opposite direction, so to say, and we can 0.02 and 0 switch the direction of these cones, and then we can, if we even make it a little bit longer here, let's say 0.7, we can get an effect from the outside. Some spikes are approaching our monkey head, and then hitting it in every single face of its surface.